Volvo are moving at a fast pace to electrification, and they are going to try and at least electrify half of their fleet by 2025. But they are doing a lot more than that. They are researching and developing their very own electric engines, not relying on third parties to develop and to build their electric engines for them. But Volvo are also very socially responsible. Now, socially responsible companies are great. That makes them good neighbors. That makes them somebody you want to be around. But things that are good for us are not always palatable. So does that mean their cars are something that we want to drive? Is this XC90 ReCharge something that I'd want to own?
Every new Volvo car launched from 2019 onwards will have an electric motor. ReCharge will be the overarching name for all Volvos with a fully electric or plug-in hybrid powertrain.
Now, when Volvo used to be part of Ford, they were able to get Ford 6-cylinder engines for their vehicles, but since they've separated, they're down to just making their own 4-cylinder engines. So how do they power up their vehicles? Well, they've added electrification, they've also added superchargers and turbochargers, which makes this, the ReCharge in the XC90, the most powerful vehicle in their lineup, with a simple 400 horsepower. Now, it is electrified, which means it'll do around 18 miles on a single charge, and then the hybrid system kicks in after the electricity is spent from the battery. This vehicle is the best of all worlds, and there's a good way for people to dip their toe into electrification. Now, on paper, they say it does 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 5 seconds. So is it fast? Oh yes, it's fast. In fact, you can get the speed over the speed limit very quickly if you put your foot down. It is fun to drive. This vehicle is a 3-row SUV, not a sports car, but it's got plenty of power and plenty of get up and go when you hit the on-ramp onto the freeway.
Volvo and Ford parted ways in 2010. Volvo has always maintained their Swedish roots, even if owned by another company. The Volvo XC90 was introduced 19 years ago and remains one of the company's best-selling vehicles around the world.
So where does all that 400 horsepower come from in this vehicle? Well, you get 313 horsepower out of the gasoline engine, which is up front. The electric engine, which drives the rear wheels, is 87 horsepower, and that gives you the 400. 400 horsepower is actually the same amount of horsepower as the Infiniti Q60 Redline, which is a sports coupe. That's pretty amazing, actually, and fine by me to give it that same amount of power. Of course, this is a lot heavier in this vehicle, but it's plenty of power, and of course, with each wheel getting its own power, it makes this all-wheel drive, which is perfect in whichever kind of climate you live in.
The XC90 is not just a people mover, it's a do-everything SUV, made for city, country, and even campsite living, with a little help from the Volvo engineers.
Just below the engine start and stop, there is different drive modes, and this has constant all-wheel drive as an option. It also has pure eco, which is your electric drive mode. Then you have hybrid. You also have power sports drive, which is for your more ambitious driver who wants a little more sporty feeling. And then your off-road drive. If you have the air suspension, that actually raises the vehicle so you can do a little mild off-roading.
Volvo are about people. They still have the mantra, diversity sparks creativity and pushes innovation. It helps us to build safer and smarter cars designed around people's everyday lives. I like that, and you can feel that when you sit inside the Volvo XC90 ReCharge.
When it comes to the interior of any Volvo, they're very fresh, simple and clean. It's that kind of Swedish look that we all love and feel very much like we're freshened every time we get into the vehicle. Lots of very natural wood, lots of very clean leather with clean stitching. Of course, Volvo is well known for its comfortable seats, although one of the downsides to this vehicle is I feel very much like the seats are a little bit complicated to operate, and at the same time the interior does make you feel very relaxed and is very well put together. The infotainment system, large vertical screen, as well as good clear thin TFT in front of the driver, which gives you precise information which is changeable as you need it, plus the optional heads-up display.
Volvo have just launched their first all-electric XC90 ReCharge. That will be at our studios soon for a test drive.
Now, when it comes to safety, of course, it's a Volvo. And if you don't know, Volvo and safety are synonymous. It should almost be the same word. You need to crawl back under the rock that you just crawled out of if you don't know that Volvo and safety are one word. However, I will also tell you that if you want to know the exact safety features that this vehicle comes with, you'll probably have to do the research on your own. Just to let you know that bicycles, pedestrians and other vehicles are well detected by the sensing equipment that comes in the Volvo XC90.
The Volvo XC90 ReCharge is a healthy $63,450 starting price, and you can climb much higher than that with options. Up to 18 miles on pure electricity alone, and you are estimated to get 55 miles per gallon equivalent. It has all-wheel drive and seats between 6 and 7 passengers, depending on the seating configuration.
I'm Nick Miles.